Good evening, everybody. Happy May 1st. It is the 1st of May, and today is Monday. So it is my first May Monday start. And this new start is called Alphabet Dogs. And I decided that I would stitch this one. According to the pattern, this is the mama and this is the puppy. But I felt like this silhouette looked the most like my Coco. And so I wanted to stitch that one. It took me a little bit to figure out what each letter was, but that is the whole alphabet. And the script of them, of some of them are a little bit odd, but you can make them out if you look at them for just a moment. So I had gone in my stash and pulled out a scrap piece of fabric. I had actually thrown it in a bin where I was getting rid of some scraps that I didn't think I was going to need anymore. They were too small and I was going to throw them out. And I hadn't taken them downstairs yet. And so when I pulled this out, this is what I found. This scrap of beautiful, it's Jaslyn fabric. The color name is Almond. It's 28 count. And I wanted this to be just big enough for a nice little ornament. And on the pattern it says Woof, W-O-O-F. So I used part of the alphabet that it had, the O. I used it to kind of transform into the C and the A. And then I just came up with a capital C, trying to make them all lean the way that they have the lettering leaning in that one. So just try to keep the, the nature of the original part. It's a little bit wrinkled here because this piece of scrap fabric that I had was about this long. So I cut it off so I could fully finish it now. I didn't cut it off till I was finished stitching with it. But even at that, this is so tiny. I did not have a hoop. I didn't have anything this would fit in. So you can tell I rolled it up. I stitched in hand with this one. I don't do that often. It hurts my arthritis. But this one I finished today in about 4 hours. So I was able to take breaks. I started it, I stopped and cooked supper, I came back to it, that kind of thing. I was hopeful to get it finished this week. I did not realize I was going to get to finish it in one day, but it helped that I was on a Zoom call this evening with my friend Donna and Nicole, and so I was able to get enough stitches in it. The floss that I used was just my choice. It was one I thought would look really pretty with this almond fabric. And the name of it is Showgirl's Kiss. It's a thread gatherer. It's a silken pearl. And it's number 323, which is Showgirl's Kiss. And I only had to use one strand of it, just the way it comes. And so I had used it for something else. This bag was already open. The strand was already unraveled. And I thought, I think I have enough to do this with. And I do love it. There's a little bit of variegation in the color. And I think it just goes really pretty on that almond. You can see it better back here. It's a darker look. That's more like it right there. The light's not washing it out quite so bad back here. I love it. So I think I have a little tiny frame that may fit in. And if I don't, I'll make it into a square ornament. And I'll put it up with my other dog pieces that I've stitched for Coco. Love it. So my first May Monday start and finish all in one day. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. So tomorrow I will be stitching on I Am a Needlesmith. I need it for 2 or 3 prompts. I've written everything down now on my sheet, and I Am a Needlesmith I am using for 3 prompts. I always try to start with the big ones, I am really tickled at where I get to start on this piece at, because I worked on this quite a bit on the 30th. I just decided to pick it up and do as much as I could on it so I could push it toward a finish. I had a choice between this one, Autumn Bell Pull, and maybe doing the back stitching on my Raggedy Ann ornament, and this one I felt could use the time because I want to finish it this month if I can. So here I've got it in the Q-snap ready to go tomorrow, but I took the top off so you could see it. Here's where it is. Isn't that precious? So all of the motifs are finished. And now what I have to do is the remaining 2 colors, maybe 3. I think there's flowers in one of the stripes of color in the background behind her to finish up the ground. That's all I have left. And it is, it's going to be these colors right in here. There's actually 2 of them. They're probably very close together. You can kind of see right here, one's a little bit lighter, and then the real dark one next to where she is. So that's all I have left, and this will be a finish. So considering that one of my prompts requires me to stitch 300 stitches, yeah, Mayflowers, the one for the Daily 30 group. I have to stitch 300 stitches for that one. So I will have to do at least 300 on this to get the prompt. And that should, that might finish a portion, maybe this portion over here. And then if I can, I'm just going to keep stitching on it if I can finish it. We'll see. I would love to finish it this month. If I don't finish it tomorrow, and I have to move forward to do something else, then I will make this be one of those that I pull back out any opportunity I have to try to get a finish on it. It is one of my Year of Whips, so I'm pretty sure it is. I'll have to double check that, but I think it is. Anyway, that's my progress from yesterday that I hadn't shared yet. And then my May 1st, May Monday, which I'm just tickled to death over. So I'm going to let you get back to what you were doing. I had a great start to my month of May, and I will check in with you as soon as possible. Happy stitching, everybody. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It is May 2nd. I am on my second day of my May Monday start mania, I guess you would call it. But I'm also working on my usual acrostics and prompts and things like that. However, the last 2 days I've had some remarkable stitching time. I have been able to stitch with friends on Zoom, and today I was able to stitch with my friends Lori and Dee, and I was so excited to get to talk with them about all of the acrostics, what we've put that we're stitching for each one, what we're doing for May. We're all going to see each other at a retreat in July. We were talking about, what are our plans for stitching when we get there. It was a great conversation and a great time. And we got some stitching done. It was wonderful. So, right as we were ending our Zoom call today, I mentioned that I was within about 30 or so stitches of finishing my piece that I was working on. And I just kept stitching until I did. So this piece I used for all 3 acrostics. I picked this one up because it was one of 2 that I had chosen to use for all 3 acrostics. So you know how I like to do that. If I can stitch it the one time and use it for 3 different prompts, that's a win all the way around. So I'm talking about my I Am a Needlesmith from By the Bay. And this is, of course, is By the Bay Needleart is the full name, and the designer is Donna Bayless. But, you know, this is one of the two By the Bay projects I'm working on right now. And I have been utilizing this one every time I need an eye, just about, for one of the acrostics. It's been great. But now I'm going to have to find something else because I finished her today. Pretty excited about that. She's beautiful. I love this piece. It's so sweet. I like the colors. Really like the colors. They will go in my living room perfectly. I have that teal sort of color and the greens in my rug in the living room. So I think that'll be pretty exciting. I love the fact that the lady is there with her knitting basket, her spinning wheel, and the little sheep apparently that she's getting the wool from. And I like the fact that it's got the little sewing motifs at the top so that you know that the person that it's talking about is a woman who uses her hands to make beautiful things. I really like the piece. I think it's beautiful. This is an easy stitch. There's a lot of stitching in it. The middle of it is full coverage. However, it has good blocks of color in it. So you have a little bit of confetti going on in those small motifs, but you really do. You have several areas that have blocks of color, which is really nice. And I had worked through this. I had worked through it doing a variety of things. I started at the top. I came down to the middle and then stopped. When I got into the full coverage, I did a little bit of it, and then I went into the lady, and I made sure I had her placed correctly because I didn't want to mess up anything on the person that's prominently displayed. And then I went ahead and did the things around her to make sure they all fit. And I ended up in the middle stitching these 2 rows of green. This one has little flowers all in it. And that way, if I had miscounted a stitch or anything, this would be a good place to just absorb all of that. And so I did that on purpose to make sure I didn't have any errors that were going to really, give me a really, really hard time. I did something extra that's not called for in the pattern, and I don't know that you can see it, but you're seeing the results of it, and that is I back stitched that little white sheep. I changed the color of it too. The color was a perfect match for my fabric, so I went with a little bit lighter color, and then I back stitched just the white part. I think I may have used ecru on that one. I think it called for 422 or something, and I did ecru because it showed up on the fabric just a little bit better. But once you did the back stitching behind it, it really does stand out, especially to the naked eye. But I think it looks fine on here too. So she's done. She's finished. I'm going to have to find me something new for the letter I. I'm really delighted to have this one done, and I'm will tell you that to finish her up took 1,300 stitches. So I started early this morning. I stitched a long time. I took breaks. I took one break to go to lunch with my hubby, and this morning I took a break to walk Coco. But other than that, I've been stitching all day, and it's now time for supper. So I was determined that I wanted to get it finished this month. And since I had it in all 3 acrostics, I decided to make it happen right at the beginning of the month, which is great. Now, this is not a trend. Don't expect a finish again tomorrow, okay? I had one yesterday. That was a real short, brand new start for my May Monday new start. And then I had this one today, which is a much bigger one for me. But I don't expect to see any more stitches in the next foreseeable future. I'll just be stitching on things for my prompts until Monday, and then I'll stitch on an anniversary piece for that May Monday. I hope you're having a great month of May, whatever you're doing to celebrate May. I hope you're having a fun time with it, and that you're enjoying your stitching. Happy stitching, everybody. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. This is Dina. It is May the 3rd, and I have been stitching off and on all day today. I didn't expect to have so much stitching time today. I had to take Coco in for a vaccination, and I had a phone call with my sister Stephanie, and so I didn't realize I was going to get to stitch as much as I did. But as it turned out, I did. My husband took a long run this afternoon, and so it was quiet, and I just kept stitching away. I originally set one goal, and when I hit it earlier in the day, I thought, well, I'm going to set a second goal, and I hit the second one. So let me tell you all about it. I decided to go ahead and pick up one of my prompts that was only for one of my acrostics, but it was for my daily 31, which is Mayflowers, and I have to stitch 300 stitches in it. But I thought I'll go ahead and knock that one out because I have a fairly decent amount of time today. I should be able to get 300 stitches. So this is Mr. Mittens. As you recall, this one, if you've watched my videos before, you may recall that Mr. Mittens is a present for my sister Stephanie's mom, and she collects clowns and she collects snowmen, but this will be the first one she's ever had that's both. So this will be her Christmas present this year. And I've been working on Mr. Mittens as I've been going along. And this came out of a Jeanette Cruz designs book. The artist is Alma Lynn, and I love Alma Lynn. But the name of this brochure is Snow Folks at Home. It's an older publication. Not even sure when it was published. Let me see if I can find the publication date. 1997. It's an old one. But I love it, and I thought particularly the snowmen there caught my eye because it represented both of my recipients' hobbies that she collects, both of what Ellen collects. So my first goal today was to try to finish all of the cross stitching. There was back stitching to do, heavily back stitched. And I had some buttons I wanted to apply. And so, and I had actually toyed with putting beads in for the snowman's eyes and his smile. I didn't have any black beads. I looked. I left them to last, but I didn't have any. They're either kitted up in a project or I don't have any. But the first goal was to finish the cross stitching, and I did that by this afternoon. And I thought, well, you know what? I might as well go ahead and start the back stitching while I can. And then maybe Saturday when I'm stitching with friends, I'm going to a stitching meetup Saturday at another library, not the one I host with my friend Donna, but another one in Canton, Georgia. And I thought, I'll just take that one with me and finish the back stitching on it. So I'll just see how far I can get on it today, and that'll just help me get a finish by Saturday. Well, you know where I'm headed, don't you? I finished Mr. Mittens. Isn't he adorable? Now, I'm going to put a book behind him because this is linen, and you can see right through it. It's just a mystery linen I had in my stash. It's an off-white, probably what they would consider cream. I did use the two buttons that I had asked you guys about. There's one. That's the mitten button, and there's the heart button. And I think the sizing is perfect. I don't see any problem with it at all. And I like it because it gives dimension to the piece. And I went ahead and did French knots for the smile and the two eyes because I didn't have any buttons, to let me do that. So they turned out okay. And I think it's precious. Now, I have to decide how I want to fully finish Mr. Mittens. I had originally thought that I would put him in a stand-up, but I don't know really if that would lend itself well. This linen is pretty flimsy. I don't know. I don't have anything to stuff it with, really. The other thing I was thinking of is I have a stand I bought for a hanging piece, and I actually wound up framing the piece once I stitched it. I didn't put it on the stand. So it's like a mini quilt holder. My friend Stephanie, my sister Stephanie, as we call each other, her mom also collects quilts. So I'm thinking I'm going to pull that stand out, and I'm going to find out if this would fit well on it with a, sashing around it for a quilt. And if so, I could actually quilt a little tiny, mini quilt to be displayed on that hanger or that stand. And that may be the way I go with it, because otherwise I'm going to wind up probably framing it, because the last thing I did for her, I made a flat fold, and I don't want to make another one right away. So I want to do something just a little different for her. So I'll let you know what I decide on. But this is Mr. Mittens. All done, all finished. And yes, there are mistakes in here, and I'm not going to point them out. But I love him. I think he turned out really, really cute. So thanks for letting me share my finish with you. I thought about starting the segment by saying I lied. I didn't mean to, but I did say in my segment yesterday that it would not be a trend, that I was not planning on another finish for another day, because I've had a finish on the first and the second. Now today on the third, I've had a third one. But I had no idea this was going to wind up this way. I had no idea. But I do think all the stitching I did on the 24 hours of cross stitch weekend has really, really paid off, because I worked on this one during that cross stitch weekend, and I got quite a bit of those pantaloons done, and that really helped me to realize how close I was, to being finished. But the back stitching really makes this thing pop. It just came to life with all the back stitching. There is even dark lavender back stitching around every single square in those pants. You may not be able to see it right now with the naked eye, but trust me, those squares just leapt off those pants when I back stitched it. So I'm happy with it. Very, very pleased with it. So there you have it. My third finish of the month of May, on May 3rd, Mr. Mittens. And that means I have completed one of my Christmas presents that I'm stitching. One. Yay! And it's only May. I'm very, very happy about that. So, that's what I have to share. Tomorrow, I get to talk with my friend Glow, and I've already checked with her. And I let her pick this week which project we wanted to work on, because she's trying to push one of hers to a finish, and I thought she might want to work on it. But she actually wants to work on Miss Christmas Eve. That's perfect for me, because she's a prompt for me. And I have to get 300 stitches in her for that prompt, because it's in the daily 30 group. I am playing canasta tomorrow. So chances are it may take me a couple of days to get that one. But I'm excited, because I'll get to work on it at least an hour in the morning with Glow, and I'm happy about that. So that'll be a good thing. Thanks again for letting me share Mr. Mittens with you. Several of you have commented about how cute he is. He is different. He's just very different, but he just met what I was looking for Ellen. So that worked out really well. I'm going to say goodnight. It's only around 9:30 at night, so, well, it's a little bit later than that, 9:50. But I'm going to get my desk all cleaned off, and I've got all these floss bobbins to put back in my stash from Mr. Mittens. So I'm going to get all that cleaned up tonight, so that in the morning I'll be ready to stitch with glow and we can start on this Christmas Eve again. In the meantime, everybody, happy stitching. Hey, Coco. You want to come up here and say hi? You gonna come up here? Oh, that's a sweet girl. Hey. Hey. You my girl? You've been a good girl today. Yes, you have. Can you say hey to everybody? Huh? Can you say hey to everybody? Say. There you go. Yeah. There you go. Oh, that's my girl. That's my girl. Yes, you are. You're my girl. Oh, okay. Okay. Hi, everybody. Coco and I want to welcome you. It is the 4th of May. I have had a wonderful day so far. This morning, I got to talk with my friend Glow, and she got to select which project we worked on today. And she picked our Miss Christmas Eve so we could continue to make some progress on it. And so that's what we worked on this morning. I was excited that she picked her because I had identified Miss Christmas Eve for the E in my acrostic Mayflowers, which is in my Daily 30 group. And if you've watched me for very long, you might remember that the Daily 30 group is where I have to stitch 300 stitches to meet the prompt. So I knew I had to stitch at least 300 stitches in Miss Christmas Eve. Glow and I don't talk that long for me to get that many stitches in. And today I played canasta with my friends from church. So I stitched with Glow for the bit of time that we get to talk. And then I left and went to canasta. And then when I got back this afternoon, I went ahead and jumped back on her and started stitching again. And I am happy to say I got 339 stitches in today. So I more than met the prompt. I'm ecstatic about that. I think I've marked everything off. I did. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure. But this is where I got to on Miss Christmas Eve. So I started working, as I said I was going to try to concentrate on finishing this side of the page up because that was the little corner that I didn't get much stitching on at the page break. And this is my page break of my working copy. So I have now about one more color to put in over here to finish, and I have dropped below, as you can tell, the page break and carried on my color of floss until I ran out of that strand. So she is adorable, absolutely adorable. So here she is again, and here's, let's see if I can show it to you together. Here's my version of her. So there you have it. Lets you kind of see where I'm working at. So additional 339 stitches today. I think that's great. My prompt is met. I think that's great. And so now I am about to go downstairs. I have put together a chicken pot pie, homemade chicken pot pie for supper with a big tossed salad. And I'm about to go put it in the oven and let that start cooking away. My husband is out cutting the grass. I hope you can't hear the big blower, but you might be able to because he's blowing off the driveway now. But then I'll put Miss Christmas Eve away, and I'm probably going to watch a little bit of TV with my hubby this evening, and I don't know if I'll get to stitch on anything else tonight or not. But at least I know I've met at least one prompt today, and that's always my goal, to meet at least one a day. I have a little teeny tiny personal family update for you. My husband came in last night and showed me a place on his leg, on his calf, where he had been bitten by a tick while he was hiking. He got the tick off and he thought everything was fine, but now he's got a big old red whelp where that was, and he's a little worried. So we went to the med stop. We've learned it's too soon to determine if he has any concerns about Lyme's disease. They do have deer tick in the area he was in. The tick that bit him was small, like a neophyte or a nymph. They have different stages. Anyway, it wasn't big enough for him to really tell what it was, which kind it was. So they have checked him out, and they said basically you have to wait about 4 weeks before we can do a test to really determine if you have been exposed or not. But let's don't waste any time, because that place on your leg looks like it's getting infected. So they gave him antibiotics, and he'll be starting those today, and we'll see how that goes. One of the dangers, I guess, of being in the woods, you know. But he's not overly worried about it. He's concerned enough that he went right away so they could get the antibiotics in his system, just in case. But I'll keep you posted if anything comes of that. I'll let you know. I told my husband that's reason number 2,561 why I don't go hiking. It's a personal joke. He knows that's not my thing. I won't go hiking. I don't enjoy it. But I love it that he does, but it's not my thing. All right, that's it from here. I'm gonna head on down and start supper, and I hope you've had a wonderful day. I go in the morning to see my eye surgeon for my final checkup. I hope to get an all clear from her and be released, and just move on. So I hope that you have a wonderful weekend coming up, and I will share with you everything I stitch. Happy stitching, everybody. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Today is Saturday. It's the 6th of May, and today I wanted to take something that I could work on a Q-snap, because my friend Donna and I drove over to Canton, Georgia, to a stitching meetup at the library in Canton, Georgia. One of our stitching friends had organized that, and we wanted to go and support it and see everybody that we might not have been able to see on this side of the state or the area. And so we went. It was about a little over an hour 10 or so minutes for me from here. So I drove to my friend Donna's house. We got in the car together, and she drove the rest of the way to the library because she knew where it was. So I took my project that I wanted to work on, and I had started working on this yesterday. It's my sister's Christmas present, so I'll have to ask you to look away, Stephanie. But I was working on this. I had, last night, I had worked on several big sections that I had to fill in background while we watched Seabiscuit in honor of the Kentucky Derby starting today. We just thought that would be fun to watch the movie about the racehorse again. We had seen it before, but we wanted to watch it again, and so we did. So today, going to a stitching meetup, I thought, I'm going to take this with me. I am getting close to a finish, and it's on a Q-snap, and I'll take it with me and I'll get it finished. Well, I even thought to take a beading needle with me and everything that I might need for that. And I got over there and got all the stitching finished and got ready to do the beading. And I had left my beads and my button pack here at the house, so I couldn't finish it. So I started working on something else, which I'm going to work on again later this evening. So you'll either see it later tonight or maybe tomorrow, but because I want to finish what I'm working on before I share it with you. So before I have my sister look again while she's looking away, I will show you my finish. Isn't he adorable? So cute. Buttons here, here, here. This cute little craft piece there and beads here. So, so cute. So finished it today. I'm done with this one. I will insert a picture of the pattern, but it's a Fancy That pattern, and there are several in this series, and Donna has a few, but she didn't have this one. So today, before we left the library, I gifted her the one that I just finished, and she's going to look in her stash and see if there's one that she has that I might like to do for a companion piece maybe later on. But I thought that it turned out really, really cute. There's writing here. You may not be able to read it, but I think it's precious. And this, of course, you can see pretty much. I don't want to read it out loud, but I thought that was really, really sweet. This is on an actual 28 count little piece of ale. It's Lugana, but it is 28 count, so it's easy to see. It is a picture of this plus, so I guarantee you it's not 28. If I were to count this, it's probably closer to a 30 or a 32. I haven't added it up. I haven't counted it up, but it's tiny. It's really tiny. So y'all know how picture of this plus shrinks in the dyeing process, but I just think that that is really cute. My plan is to check with my friend Vonna Pfeiffer to see if she's got any room in her queue for finishes, because I have a special finish that I want to do this one with, and I'm thinking that I'll have it finished the same way that I'm gonna have Stephanie's mom's present finished, so they'll have like a set. Anyway, I think that would be cute together, so there you go. All right, Stephanie, you can look back now. So that was my finish today. So I got a lot of teasing today about being a show-off. I got called a show-off today, simply because I've had so many finishes in May. I'm not sure how that all happened that way. I think I started some of these projects probably pretty close together, or it's just been that my prompts, I have evenly distributed the prompts that I've been working on to cover all these projects, and because I'm working on them every month, it's natural that maybe they got close to a finish at the same time. I don't know. It just turned out that way. So that is pretty exciting, because I had to finish the 1st, 2nd, 3rd of May, and now I've had to finish on the 6th of May, so that's at least 4 that I finished this month already, which is awesome. Awesome. And I'm hoping to finish one either tonight or tomorrow, and I'll share that with you as soon as I do, which would be even better, especially considering that Mr. Mittens, this one, and the one I'm working on later today are all gifts for Christmas. Wouldn't that be awesome to get all 3 of them done? I'm excited. All right, one little piece of housekeeping. I mentioned now that Mr. Mittens is finished, I would need to pick a new start for the 3rd Monday in May for my May Monday starts, which is what I'm doing for Mania. And as it turns out, I have a new start. I have 2 of them coming up on Whip Go. So I have decided that I'm going to pick one of those 2 new starts for Whip Go, and I'm going to make it my Monday start on the 16th of May, so that I hit 2 birds with 1 stone. I get my May Monday start in there, and I get my Whip Go goal met at the same time. Y'all know I love to double up, that sort of thing. So that's what I'm planning on. I just thought I would update you on that a little bit. I hope you've had a great Saturday. I certainly have. It was wonderful to talk with fellow Stitchers today and get to enjoy their company and get to know some of them that I had not met before. And so that was quite a privilege. I will let you get back to what you were doing. I hope it was stitching. And I hope to come back with another finish this weekend, if at all possible. Happy stitching, everybody. Good evening again. It is later on the 6th of May. much later. It is about 11:45, but I wanted to come back and tell you that I did finish my project that I started working on at my stitching meetup today. This was after I stitched all I could stitch on my present for my sister, and I had to wait till I got home to attach all the little accoutrement to it. But I had with me another project that just needed back stitching, and as of a few minutes ago, I finished it. I'm talking about the cute little Raggedy Ann on this Christmas stocking, and I am using it, just the portion that's her on the little ball, for an ornament for my friend Cheryl for this Christmas. And if you've been watching me, you've seen me stitching this on polka dot fabric. And the last time you saw it, I had finished all the stitching, but the only back stitching I had done was her head, her hair and face. And so I want to insert a little picture here of what it looked like, because I want you to really look at it a second or two before I show it to you back stitched, because it makes such huge difference. So here it is without back stitching except her face and head. And here it is fully finished with all the back stitching. Isn't that precious? It just pops right off the fabric. She's holding a little heart. I researched the teapot. I went online, I put in queries as to was there a significance of a teapot with Raggedy Ann, and I could not find anything other than she's on a lot of tea sets, little girls' tea sets, and I think that may be where it came from. But I do know from doing the research I did today that early on, maybe even from the very beginning, her creator put her a candy heart, and you'll see one right there on her little apron. And so I had a heart charm, and rather than her holding a teapot, I put the charm in her hand, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's actually, when you look at it with the naked eye, you can tell. It is lying in her hand. It looks like she's cradling it. So there she is. That is going to be the little ornament that I made. This will be made into a little ornament for my friend Cheryl. And that's finished with all the back stitching, ready to go. Just in time to be able to call it a finish today on the 6th. That's 2 finishes today. I'm so tickled. Now, I was close on both of them, so don't hate me. I really and truly worked hard on both of them to get them there. But she is precious, very precious. I think my friend's gonna really like her. And I have the other half of this fabric, and I have found a small picture of Andy, and I'm gonna measure it. I'm gonna count the stitches and see if it's gonna wind up being just about the same size, because I would love to gift them to them, one each, you know, like a set. So there you have it. And the pattern is out of the For the Love of Cross Stitch, January '93. And the name on this pattern inside the magazine is Elf Stocking, because they were focusing on the elf and not the Raggedy Ann. I have been calling it my Raggedy Ann ornament the whole time I've been working on it, so I know what I was talking about. But the actual pattern name is Elf Stocking, and there are 2 of them, of course. One for a girl and one for a boy. All right, so there you go. That was one of the ones I stitched out of my magazines, Carolyn and Robin. I actually did one out of a magazine. I'm so excited. I am excited to tell you this too. I actually counted my back stitches, 2 for 1, as you do since it's single, not a full cross, and I totaled 428 back stitches at least. And when I got that far around, I felt like, okay, that's enough. I don't even think I counted around the heart or in the skirt or anything like that. I did all the outline and the stars and, you know, her legs and stripes and things. And when I had that many, I knew I had enough because my prompt needed 300. I was well over 300. And so I'm letting this stand for the O in Mayflowers. I originally was going to do my Christmas Village ornament because the O stood for the word ornament. But because this is an ornament that I am making for my friend Cheryl, I'm letting this count for ornament. I hope that is okay. I hope they'll accept that because that's what this is. It is an ornament. And she has an ornament in her hand. So either way, it is the object or it has an object in it. So I'm hoping that that'll fly. But anyway, I did 428 stitches for that, for the O in Mayflowers. But I also am counting this for the R in the Magazine Monthly Challenge acrostic for Borealis. So the R is for Raggedy Ann. 2 prompts. Really happy about that. And I'm thrilled because guess what? As I said, this is a present too. So now that's 3 Christmas gifts that I have finished in the last 2 days or 3 days. So that feels like a big weight lifted off my shoulders, you know, to get that done. Happy about that. Well, it's very late. I'm going to go join my hubby and Coco. They went to bed a long time ago. But I was just on a roll with this and I wanted to get it done. And you know me, I kind of get that way when I get this close to a finish. Anyway, and I've heard from many of you that you are the same way. So, good night, everybody. And until I speak with you again, happy stitching. Let me see, baby. Let me see. Oh, you're such a hard tugger. You're such a hard tugger. Yes, you are. Oh, I got it. Almost got it. Almost got it. Almost got it. I got it. I got it. Oh my goodness, I have to be careful not to grab your beard. Oh my goodness gracious, what a good tugger you are. What a good tugger you are. This is our playtime. Coco enjoys this very much. Oh, sorry, she's shaking. She's pulling on me so hard it's shaking the camera. Anyway, just thought I'd let you see her play. Yes!